and welcome back to this week's Self-Love Masterclass. My name's Renee. I'm a self-love teacher, coach, doula, and a Reiki master. And every single week we come back here to explore new ways to develop our self-esteem, our self-worth, and to create the inner wisdom so that we can manifest the life of our dreams. I'm so happy to be back here with you, and I am so happy I got this question on my Instagram because I think it's timely for so many people out here who are in a transition in their life, or they're really out to create big things this year, right? So you're in the right place if you're watching a video on how to deal with other people's jealousy. I recognize that at times we can be on either end of the equation. So even if you're finding yourself getting a little bit jealous of other people, this is going to be a great video for you to watch as well. I think the really important thing for us to understand before I dive into the tips is why do we even feel jealousy? Why are other people jealous of us? There are generally two reasons why people are jealous or why we experience jealousy. The first is insecurity, and that is where most people will fall. And then the second reason is paranoia, and at the very worst end of that scale, it can be someone who's dealing with serious mental health issues like a paranoid schizophrenic. A lot of the time when someone is jealous of us or we're feeling jealous, it's because there's something about that other person that mirrors back to us where we don't feel good enough, where we feel we're not worthy, where we are really lacking something that we truly want or truly desire. So when we see someone else getting those things or those opportunities happening for that other person, we start to get all icky and grimy about it, right? You might start to say negative things about that person. You might even talk about that person behind their back with your other friends, or you may just be very standoffish and withhold yourself from that person. All of that stuff that's going on, all of that attitude is your own jealousy. And the place that you want to be looking at is, what is that person doing, or what does that person have that I myself also want or feel I'm deserving of, or even not deserving of? The second thing that I talked about was the paranoia. And that's really when, someone has this idea that they're kind of like this victim in life. The way that they see other people out in the world is like everybody's always out to get them, or everybody has forgotten them or abandoned them. So often people who feel left out all the time, people who feel like they're always getting the crappier end of the stick, people who just in general have a negative view of life, these are the people who tend to be jealous of other people. So we talked about the causes, we talked about why you may be feeling jealous. Now what I want to dive right into are the tips on how to deal with this. This is actually what I teach my clients when I'm working with them on their own feelings of jealousy, or when they're having to deal with close friends and family members who are jealous of them. The first thing is this: you really want to be as compassionate as possible. And I know how difficult that can be. Like if there's all these awesome things that are happening in your life and things are really opening up for you, you want the people who are closest to you to really be able to celebrate with you and acknowledge you and all of that. And when they don't offer that to you, you can almost feel like you want to get a little bit icky with them, right? That's natural. That's perfectly natural. So don't beat yourself up about it. It simply is, if you match their energy, if you behave that way with them, if you get icky with them, you're just going to get more sludge thrown at you. So I say the best way to really diffuse it is to offer compassion. That means if you know that someone is jealous of you because they're insecure, they feel unworthy, they're lacking, maybe they're not taking action in their own life, how can you either be kinder to them? How can you offer them greater assistance? Or let's say you're at a party and you know that person feels very insecure. What can you do to just have a conversation with them or include them in the group? How can you actually have them show off their own beauty or their own greatness so that they actually step up in vibrational levels and actually step into the great person that they are? Because I'm telling you, when they actually see who they are, or they step into the person that they actually are, they're not going to have time or interest in being jealous of you or anyone else, because they're so full and so happy with themselves. So that is my first recommendation. If you can really just be kind to them, particularly if they're in your inner circle or your family or like a very close colleague, just really be great with them. And that will really help. The second thing that I would say, so it's 2 tips in this video, is to really look at this from a spiritual approach. The spiritual approach being, if I am surrounded by people who are jealous of me, people who don't feel good or don't feel worthy, what is that telling me about myself? Or what is that telling me about the relationships that I have in my life? Obviously, there are times when there are people in your inner circle or people in your life that have, jealousy towards you. And what's best for you is for you to really work with them and love them up and take care of them and just be the bigger person, so to speak. And then there are times when you really need to, really need to take a look and say, okay, what is happening here? Who am I being, or what is it about me that is causing me to attract people in my life who are not happy for me? And I say this particularly for people who have a gaggle of people like this. Like, I have coached and known people who don't just have 1 or 2 friends or a sister or a brother who feel a little bit jealous of them, but it's almost like they're in this network of men or this network of women where the atmosphere is just dingy and grimy and competitive and two-faced. People say these really kind and sweet things to each other's faces, but then behind their backs they're talking about each other. And I want you to know that is not the way it has to be. A lot of people will say, well, this is just how human beings are. We're human, we have an identity, we have an ego, we're going to have these things show up. But the difference is, when you're with a group of people who are very self-aware, very conscious, like I think a lot of the people who are watching this video right now or this class right now are probably very conscious and aware people. You are not committed to treating each other that way. You're actually committed to being loving and to being authentic and truthful. Don't accept that this is just the way women are, or this is the way women are with other women, or this is the way guys are. Because it's not that way. It's not that way in my inner circle, and it's not that way for a lot of people that I know. But again, it takes practice, it takes work, it takes you really curating your circle, and of course, using these 2 tips when you encounter people that are jealous. One of the last things I want to say to you is that we're each responsible for our lives, and we're responsible for the relationships that we have in our lives. If there is something that is not working for you, if there is something that doesn't feel right, I always encourage you to address it immediately. And if it's not being resolved, keep bringing it up until it's resolved. You don't have to have friendships in your life that aren't true or aren't real. Don't tolerate fakeness, and don't tolerate anyone who doesn't treat you the way you feel you deserve to be treated. Check out my vlog that I did last week if you missed that. That talks about why we sometimes aren't treated the way that we'd like to be treated by our friends. Sometimes it's, caused by the other people, but then there are times when there's something going on about us that is repelling or, you know, we're repelling people from our lives. So check that out if that's of interest to you. Anyway, it has been so great doing this video for you. I love it when you guys ask questions, so feel free to always leave me video requests on my Instagram or down below in the comments. If you like this video, I would appreciate it so much if you would give it a like and a thumbs up. It helps me to know what kind of content is relevant to you and what you all want to see more of. And then last but not least, if you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, definitely go ahead and do that. I've been putting out more videos and things are just getting better and better. If you want to follow me on other social media platforms, all of my links are down below. I'm on like freaking everything. You can find me somewhere on some app that you have. It has been so awesome being with you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me here, because self-love matters. Never forget, we are in this together. Have yourselves a great week. Mwah.